Hi guys, welcome to our weekly live stream where we talk about how to build your healthy thin mentality and live in a happy relationship with food and eating and have the body that you want. And we call that building your healthy thin mentality and ditching your diet mentality. So you'll see the picture that comes with this video is a picture of what I brought home from the grocery store last week to last a few days or however long, and the one thing is missing. I'd already put the chicken in the refrigerator, so when I was looking at that picture, I'm thinking, wow, there's no meat in there, and that's not how I eat. But anyway, so I just want to make sure that you see that I tell you that. And also the point of that image is to show what kind of food you can enjoy when you have your healthy thin mentality. And that doesn't mean that your refrigerator will have the same stuff in it that mine does. It shouldn't. You should have your own unique, joyful food selections. What it does mean is that, as you can see if you look through those foods, there are plenty of healthy, fabulous things that I love. I don't eat them because I'm making myself eat them. I'm eating them because I love them, as well as I think the two most obvious not nutritious things that someone would say were a big old pack of cookies and some chocolate, and I think there were chips and stuff in there. And when you have a healthy thin mentality, you enjoy all these foods, and you enjoy them when you're hungry, and you eat them, and you have no stress, knowing that as soon as hunger is gone, is quiet, that then you don't eat anymore. And that's how weight loss occurs, that you match eating with hunger. And if this message seems too simple to you, please revisit the thought of, okay, why is that simple beauty? Why is that making me not think perhaps that this could possibly work for me? When honestly, it is the simplicity that Mother Nature gave us, that is the tool that she provided us with to know what, when, and how much to eat, and we dismiss that in our world over and over again. And if you prefer to call it something other than Mother Nature, that's fine. That's I use as the universal term to be as inclusive as I can. So it's an ingrained biological instinct that we have dismissed, and our job here, our journey here, is getting that back. And I promise you guys, it is the best gift you will ever give yourself. I've been a healthy thin mentality eater since the year 2000. I can't believe it's 20 years. I was a dieter for 25 years before that. I know your diet mentality very well, and I can help you get rid of it. That's what we're here to do. And today, if you ask questions, I will certainly address them. I have 5 great questions, great points of discussion from our private Facebook groups. One is, what do you do when you have a child that's overeating and you want to help them? Okay, this is really important. When we look at a little child, let's say we have a baby and their average weight or whatever, and then they go through a period of time when they're a little on the heavy side. I hate even saying that, but we just judge that so harshly. And let's look at other animals. Let's look at puppies. Puppies, when they're growing up, go through different stages of being heavier or thinner, and we just accept that. Oh, that's the stage they're in. And I think as moms and dads, we so want our children to be happy and have a great life that we think, oh wow, if they're going to struggle with weight, that's going to be really hard. So we go, okay, well, I want to be a great parent. I love my child. How am I going to help them? And my honest best advice, I'm not a clinical psychologist, I'm not a doctor, but I'm just telling you my common sense approach to this is let them alone. Let them alone. Kids will do way better when they have someone to model their behavior after who is a healthy thin mentality person, instead of having someone make them feel bad about what they're eating, because that strikes at the heart of the relationship with your parent. Really quick, with this is so significant. Food, when you're a little kid, is tied to your parents, especially your mom. It is the lifeline that you have. And if your mom or your dad criticizes and makes you feel weird about food, it is life altering. I can tell you because that happened to me. And it is so much better to let your child alone. Let them alone. Let them go through a little stage where they may be a little heavier. And maybe they're not meant to be a thin person when they grow up. I do not mean obese. I do not mean super heavy. But we all have different body types. And you must respect your child's body type, even if it's different than yours. And it's such a sensitive issue in our culture because, we want our kids to be happy and great, but leave them alone. That's my advice, especially when they're little. This comment was about someone who was 8 years old, I think. And the best thing mom can do in that point, and this was from a mother, is to just model healthy thin behavior yourself. Model that behavior yourself. And that's the best gift that you will give to her. And as she gets older, who knows what her body's going to go through. She may get super skinny when she's an adolescent. I have a friend, really quick story, who I think I have this, wrote this in our book. So she was so worried about her child being heavy that she didn't have anything like yummy in her house. No snacks, nothing. And one day she saw her little kid going down on the concrete around a swimming pool, trying to scrape up a dead M&M, an old crusty M&M, to eat it. And she said, okay, wow, this is not working. I never let my kid have anything. And by the way, that child, so she was probably 6 or 5 when that happened. And that child, then grew up in a house where her mom did let her have some food, whatever, and treats around. And she's like a very thin person in a nice way, not overly thin. So I'm just saying, you just don't know. You just don't know. So leave them alone, model your own healthy thin mentality, and that's the best gift you're going to give. This is my struggle. I want to save money and prep food. Yeah, I can give you some tips on that. My dad would say, you shouldn't be eating that and then proceed to eat junk. Yeah. Let's give our parents, the benefit of the doubt in that they didn't mean to hurt us when they said that. They probably were really trying to help us, but you just got to shut that down. You got to not let that cycle go into the next generation. You can prep food. Over time, you get really good at knowing what food you like, and then you prep it and you put it in your fridge. Okay, so example, I really like oatmeal, and so I make some extra when I eat it, and I put it in my refrigerator, and then I have it for later if that's what I want. I also like eating tuna fish a lot, so I prep that and put it in my fridge. Instead of just prepping one thing, get a few things that are going to last a couple days, 3 days, and have them available to yourself. Yes, prepping food is fantastic. That is such a good thing to do for yourself. It's taking care of yourself and making sure you have the stuff that you like, and that's really important. Take care of yourself as if you were your own child, right? What am I going to likely want tomorrow? And I don't mean to predict it and then make yourself eat that. That's different. I just mean give yourself some choices, right? And so if you I've talked about this a lot, if you go to work and you need to take lunch or school, whatever, especially in the beginning when you're new at this and you don't really know what foods you're going to love, give yourself a couple choices. What's the worst case scenario? You have something that you have to bring home at the end of the day, or you waste some. Now listen, over time you will waste way less food with your healthy thin mentality. In the beginning, it's okay. If you bring a couple things and then one of them isn't going to keep, or what you didn't eat isn't going to keep. I mean, we don't want to throw away food, but I'm telling you, most food does last a little while. But even in that circumstance where you're like, well, then I'm going to have to throw it away. In the beginning, while you're getting good at this, that's okay. Just in the beginning. You won't need to do that long term. I promise you're going to get really good at this. You're going to get really good at knowing what foods you generally like. And a really great thing that you should do is pay attention to yourself and what likes. Take notes, physical notes or mental notes, and say, wow, when I felt like this and it was whatever circumstance, I ate this and it felt great. So then if, let's say, you're going to plan for a situation where you will be in that same situation, then you have information. Wow, I really liked that. And you can take care of yourself. It is something that I know when I was a dieter, I was like, wow, I really don't need, why do I need to, put so much thought into not when you were a dieter and actually trying to diet, but maybe in between diets. I didn't even felt like I should worry about my own food intake because, well, clearly I needed to lose weight, so clearly I'm fine. But that's not the case at all. All your life, no matter what you weigh, you always need to take care of yourself. You will always need to eat. Even if you're very heavy, you need to eat, and you deserve to eat, and you deserve to make it as nice for yourself as possible. So treat yourself kindly, again, like you were your own little kid, and you were taking care of yourself. Hi from England. Wow. Thanks for posting Activity Book with Lovely. I've dieted for 10 years, and after having last year as I'm going to not diet anymore, I am now 2 stones heavier. Okay, so if you're gaining weight with your healthy thin mentality, the only answer is, right, you're eating too much. Plain and simple. Now don't take offense at that, and that doesn't mean that you're sunk at all. What it means is that you need to key in more attentively to when hunger is gone. And let me also say something really important, Kaylee. If you were dieting right before you developed your healthy thin mentality, you're going to gain, after a diet, you will gain weight. That is the way dieting affects you. Diet, the best predictor of weight gain is a diet. So after your diet, unless, very rare circumstance, you're going to gain weight. So if you were dieting and then you went right to a healthy thin mentality and you gained some weight, it could be because you just were on your diet. But if you're in your healthy thin mentality and you've been working on this for a while, first be easier on yourself, and don't berate yourself. Just say, okay, I'm gaining weight here. I feel it in my clothes or whatever. So I'm overeating. I'm eating beyond hunger. That's just the truth. But don't be sad, because especially if you're new at this, you're just not good at it yet. It doesn't mean that you can't do it. It just means that you have to regroup and pay really close attention. And something that you will discover, and many people have posted this in our group, is when you assume that you need a certain amount of food to satisfy hunger, sometimes you eat that and you're not listening. You will be surprised that a smaller amount of food can actually do a great job in quieting hunger. You may not need as much as you think. It doesn't mean you should change what you're eating. It means you should really key into when hunger is, you haven't started your healthy thin mentality yet. Well, that's even better. But still, people, honestly, if you are gaining weight, if you're listening and you've gained weight with healthy thin mentality, that is because you're not listening to hunger. And it's just that simple. So, but Kaylee, again, if you just were on a diet and that happens. That is why I developed my healthy thin mentality. Real quick, you guys have read the book. I wrote this in there, but I had dieted, gotten to weight that I was happy with. I went on a brief vacation and I came back like, I think it was 8 pounds heavier, some crazy amount for a very short amount of time. And I was like so disappointed. I was so sad. I'd worked so hard. I'd worked out a lot, all this stuff. And that's when I snapped. I said, I can't do this to myself anymore. It was that weight gain post-diet that did it to me. And that, I think, has gotten a lot of people to understand the importance of building your healthy thin mentality. Because as fabulous as it is when you fit into pants, is as crummy as it is when you try to pull them on a week later, when you've just eaten normally, not even overeaten, just eaten normally, but you've gained it all back because your body's trying to keep you alive and has no idea why you were on a famine. I always focus on much on rules and not what I would like. I've got to get, right, Gina, great thought, right. Rules. We live by other people's rules based on what? What do they know about you? What does any app really know about your food? And by the way, real quick, I want to get to these questions that I have here, but the new Weight Watchers thing, I pick on them because I really can't believe Oprah's doing this. Trying to tell other people how to eat when she's obviously got the hugest diet mentality of everyone. They're talking about, it's your diet that we give you is scientifically matched to you. What BS marketing phrase that is. No, it's not, guys. No, it's not. They're just saying, she says in this report she likes to eat eggs. Okay, so here's a couple eggs every week you can have on Tuesday and Friday or whatever the heck it is. It's like they're treating us like kindergartners because that's how they get us. They treat us like we're little kids that we need to be told how to eat. No, we don't. You need to grow up and grow your own healthy thin mentality and follow that and stop being treated like a little kid who needs food rules on what to eat. Because even little kids barely need that. They need some guidance, but we do not. We do not. So, second question. What do you do when you have cohabitants, people you live with, who their eating is affecting you? Reasonable question, and we live in a real world where there's going to be people around us who eat a certain way and who that affects us. So let's say you're sitting in your living room and someone else goes and gets chips or whatever, snacks, whatever, doesn't even matter what it is, and all of a sudden you're going, oh wow, now that looks so good. And the person who asked this question was like, then my mouth starts salivating and I really want it. Okay, you have to learn. Sometimes if someone brings food out and your mouth starts salivating, you feel really hungry, you are hungry. Sometimes that's completely legit. And what you do is you take a bite and you say, if you feel that way, and you go, okay, is my mouth like so happy? Are my taste buds lighting up? And I say this a lot. You can back into knowing whether or not you actually have hunger, because in the beginning of this, you don't know because it's been trained out of you. You've been trained to ignore hunger, so it's hard to hear it sometimes. But you can. Just hang in there. There will be a time, I promise you, I did not believe this, I promise you, there will be a time when you'll be sitting there and someone will pull out a bag of your favorite food, but you're not hungry and you don't care. You just have no interest in it. I promise you that will happen with your healthy, thin mentality. You will be so connected to only eating when you're hungry because it's so joyful, it's so wonderful, it's so slimming that you'll be like, yeah, that's my favorite food, but I'm not hungry, so I'm not going to eat it. I can have it later when I'm hungry, and maybe I'll want it. Maybe I'll want something else. You have this amazing freedom that changes everything, and it is obviously the best gift. So so back to cohabitants eating. Don't be completely against eating when they are because this can't be a coincidence, because sometimes it is. Sometimes maybe hunger is just starting to come to you and someone brings food out and it ignites it. That's okay. But just keep checking in with yourself and keep saying they're eating, and maybe it's a food that you're afraid they're going to eat the whole thing. Then you can say, hey, can I take a little of that aside and save it for me for later? Be practical, be logical, take care of yourself. All these problems are solved. All these questions about healthy thin mentality eating are always solved with what's a common sense answer and what is respecting your hunger. Are you hungry, right? But a common sense answer, no, I'm not hungry now, but I love that. They're going to eat it all. Okay, well, common sense, we'll have them say, hey, I'm going to take a bit of that, put it in a bowl. It's going to be just for me, hands off. That's reasonable, guys, and that's okay. Okay, so next one. Okay. Another question, great question. What if you don't know what to eat? And some other people in our group answered this, and they did a fantastic job, but it's such an important question. I'm going to answer that too. When you don't know what to eat, you can't decide, you're probably not that hungry. Because when you're hungry, everything looks pretty good. Everything looks pretty good. You get less picky if you're really hungry. Now, I always say, hey, be a picky, healthy, thin mentality person. And by doing that, I mean, have things you like around. Be picky. Don't just buy stuff that you don't even like because you're trying not to eat it. No, get stuff you love, have it around you, and that also takes the power away. If all your favorite foods, if stuff you love is around you, then it becomes less threatening, it becomes less of a big deal. It's just a complete joy. When you eat it, it neutralizes it. You don't want food to have power over you, right? We all know what a crummy feeling that is. So again, if you just don't know what to eat, you just may not be hungry. Now, I'm going to say a caveat to that, because some people try to be so good building their healthy thin mentality that they wait too long and they get over hungry, and then they're like, oh, I just don't know. So if you think you've gone through that, then take a bite of something and see how it feels. It's always see how you feel. I'm going to say that again. See how you feel. Because your feelings is your body's reaction. I don't mean your emotional feelings. I mean, does your body feel better? Do you just kind of light up? Oh, God, I feel good now. The other day, I was a little bit sick, and I'm just saying this to give you an example. And I didn't feel great, and I was like, oh, God, am I hungry? And I'm just not even hearing it. Or was I hungry earlier and I didn't eat because I was nauseous? Maybe I'm just and I had a little bit of food. It was like a cracker. It was nothing. Yeah, it was one of those cheese crackers. Anyway. And I was like, and I felt better. So again, logic. I'm not telling you to eat without hunger, because maybe don't interpret what I just said like that. It's just that it's just being an investigator, taking care of yourself, taking the time and energy to think, okay, how can I nourish myself? What's going to feel good? And following up on that by having the groceries in your house that you like, going to restaurants that you like, ordering the stuff that you like, no matter who's at the table judging you. Because I know for some people who are heavy, a healthy thin mentality is tough because they feel judged when they order something at a restaurant or they eat something at home, like, oh, that's a fattening food. Just keep saying to yourself, come here, get support here, but keep saying to yourself, nothing is fattening when I'm hungry. Everything is fattening when I'm not. Live by that, okay? Just a cute story, cute comment, someone said that they had butterscotch pie before breakfast, earlier in the day, when normally as a dieter she never would. Yeah, you do stuff like that. And you guys who are new listening to this message going, okay, well, this group is crazy, they're eating butterscotch pie. No, it's not like that, guys. If you wake up and you're hungry and you want pie, eat it and get on with your day. When you're hungry, nothing is fattening, just like we just said. And when you aren't hungry and you eat carrots or you eat some low-cal oatmeal or whatever, that's fattening, guys. It's all about timing, and we lose that. It's the time. Think of the other things you do in your life that are biologically driven. Would you want to schedule those? Think of all the base things you do. You need to go to the bathroom. You want to put yourself on a schedule. How screwed up would that make you? It would really mess you up. It would mess up your digestion, right? Same thing with eating. Don't put yourself on a schedule. And if you say, well, I have to eat with my kids or whatever, that's fine. But with your healthy thin mentality, you can literally, I promise, and I promise you can do this. If I can do this, you can do this. There was nothing special about me. When I'm sitting at a table and I'm not hungry, I don't care what's going on around me. I'm not going to eat because I'm not hungry. And you will get there, and it's a beautiful, free place to be. Oh, thanks. I hear that. So let's see. I think there was one more. I don't know what. Oh yeah. Oh, New Year's resolutions. Yeah, this is that time of year. And someone wrote a great post about saying she was considering going to Weight Watchers. And hey, guys, always be honest, because there's nothing you can say. Honesty is what we want on our site and in our group. If you're having those thoughts like, wow, I'm really thinking, I see all these Weight Watchers commercials and I really, want to do that, you could voice that. No one's going to judge you. All we're going to do in our group is help support your choice to build a healthy thin mentality. But if you choose and you're thinking, wow, I was looking at that Weight Watchers commercial. Yeah. Many people do that and get tempted to go on a diet. And our goal here, our message is to keep highlighting the truth. The truth is that Weight Watchers works temporarily and then you gain it back. And what she said in this post, which was really great, was that she went and looked at all the comments of a lot of people who were, I guess, talking about going on Weight Watchers. They all kept saying, back on the bandwagon, back on the wagon. Yeah, that's what it is, because Weight Watchers cycles people through, and they just want to keep feeding people into that cycle. Well, we lost her this year, but she'll come back next year when we put an ad in with this celebrity that maybe she really likes. I pick on Weight Watchers a lot, but it's all of them, and it's the apps, and it's the another one I'll talk about really quickly is like the Peloton, where they have the commercials of the people doing massive cardio on their bikes. Listen, I taught spinning for years. I understand the value of exercise, and I'm a proponent for exercise. I am not a proponent for ads like that make it seem that you can cardio your way thin, because you cannot. If you've ever gone and watched a marathon, for example, you see plenty of people who are overweight coming over the finish line, and many people I know and was around some people, I'll get thin, I'll do a marathon and I'll get thin. No, you won't. Because running a marathon is fantastic. I never did it. It's an amazing goal. I'm super supportive of anyone who does that. It's truly amazing. It doesn't make you thin. It makes you also hungry. You eat more, and it's wear and tear on your body. I mean, there are some negatives. So my point is here with these ads and the New Year's resolutions, and I'm going to go on a marathon in May or whatever your city, whenever, my city, that's when they do it. Do a marathon for a lot of great reasons. Don't do it to lose weight, because you will be more hungry with a healthy thin mentality. That means you'll eat more. And you say, okay, well then I won't do a healthy thin mentality. I'll just go on a marathon and diet. Well then, if you do that, you will lose weight, and then you will gain it back. I promise you will gain it back. That is what happens to 99 point whatever percentage of people. And if stuff like this worked, there'd be a lot more thin people walking around, and there aren't, because we've lost a relationship with the essence of eating, which is hunger. We've lost it, and it's just so sad. And all the other messages you hear, they dismiss that. So my hope for every single person who watches this, and I want to announce our, okay, I'll get that in a second, but I just didn't want to forget. Hold on. Is that this year, you fully commit to your healthy thin mentality and you start experiencing the joy of it. Because unlike dieting, which is a beginning and an end, healthy thin mentality living is the rest of your life. It's harmonious, calm weight loss that doesn't threaten your body, that feels great. And go on our page, guys, and see other people's stories about this. Just find us on, the link is below in the info section, but we have 2 groups, so join and see for yourself, It helps a lot to see other people talking about it. Okay, so you guys, I'm really trying to get this message out there. If you like, share, subscribe, you are automatically entered. Like, share, or subscribe, you're automatically entered for our weekly giveaway, which is either our 2 books, our workbook and the main textbook. Workbook is the first 12 weeks of your healthy thin mentality, and you receive the book as well. And if you already have that, the other thing that I can offer to you is I'm a lip balm person, and for my whole life, when I started my Healthy Thin Mentality, I used to use a little thing of lip balm that when I was eating, I go, okay, I'm just going to sit here and think for a second. It slowed me down. Not that you need to eat slowly. It just made me connect and go, okay, am I hungry? And so this is a little lip balm necklace if you would like this instead of the books if you're the winner. And last week, Kim, who was our winner, she chose this because she already had the books. And there's lip balm in it, right? So you just, go in there and you just use it. And it's just a way to connect. And the beauty of the message on it is stay in the moment. It says it right there. And that is, again, the essence of a healthy thin mentality is connecting with hunger. And you connect with hunger by staying in the moment. It's very helpful. You don't think about yesterday. You don't think about tomorrow. You go, am I hungry? In this moment, am I hungry? Nothing else matters. And that is your path to lifelong thinness and happiness. I promise you guys, if I can do this, I really mean it. I had a terrible diet mentality, and I calories and everything. I was constantly losing and gaining weight, taking up way too much of my life. I don't want that for any of you guys. I had a grandmother that I modeled my healthy thin behavior after. You may not have someone in your life like that. I'm trying to be that person for you. And with the wisdom of age, you do get to reflect and see the things that work long term and do not. And I promise you, younger folks, and you people who are not young anymore, I'm just saying, for all of you guys, just if you already have wisdom, then look back at your life and think, okay, did this work? And if you're young and you're wondering, let us older folks tell you, it does not. And it's a miserable waste of your energy, time, and love to diet. No, get your healthy thin mentality where you connect food with eating, the way Mother Nature, or whoever you want to say, made us, designed us. And so Tiffany Brady is our winner from last week. Tiffany, I will try to comment back at you. You can choose either the books or the necklace. And thank you so much for your comment. And today, you guys, if you're watching this live or watching it later, comment, subscribe, or like, and you will be entered as well. And I really appreciate you being here, and have a great week. Remember, your healthy thin mentality is going to be your best friend, and you're going to be so happy that you took a little time and energy to build it, and it will get better and better over time, not weaker like a diet mentality where you crack. You will get stronger and stronger. Okay, guys, great to be with you, and I'll talk to you soon.